The clang of metal trays echoes down the long corridor. It's morning inside the penitentiary, and the day begins not with sunlight, but with the sound of steel and footsteps. The air smells faintly of bleach, overcooked beans, and something else. Something old, like grease that's been reused too many times. They say food tells you everything about a place. If that's true, then this place speaks in whispers of neglect and routine. Each inmate shuffles forward, tray in hand, eyes dull with expectation. The serving line moves slowly, guards watching from behind thick glass. On the other side, a few men in stained aprons spoon grey mush from enormous pots, steam rising like ghostly fog. Breakfast, or something like it. No one asks what's inside. They just eat. For newcomers, the shock comes quick. The first bite feels like swallowing the walls themselves, heavy, flavourless, indifferent. But for the ones who've been here long enough, the taste doesn't matter anymore. It's just another part of the sentence, another reminder that out there life moves on. In here, even time tastes recycled. One former inmate once said, "You don't eat in prison, you endure." And in those words lies the heart of it all, survival, not satisfaction. The kitchen, hidden deep within the compound, is its own kind of world. The air is thick, hot, always buzzing. Pots clang, water hisses, voices murmur low. Here, a man's worth can rise or fall depending on what he controls, and nothing holds more quiet power than food. Those who work the kitchen understand this better than anyone. They decide who gets an extra scoop, who gets the burnt batch, and who's left with crumbs. In a place where every privilege is earned or traded, even a second helping can mean influence. Behind the scenes, the ingredients tell a story no one dares to say out loud. Expired cans, reused oil, vegetables that have seen better days, all stirred into the same pot and called lunch. But to question it is to risk the little you have. So no one speaks. Not directly. But stories spread. Through whispers, through nods, through quiet warnings passed between cells. Stories about the meat that didn't taste right, the stew that smelled off, the breakfast that made half the block sick. Proof? None. Belief? Everyone. Yet strangely, food is also a comfort, the only thing predictable in a place where nothing else is. You can time your day by it. You can trade it, hoard it, even use it to build alliances. A pack of noodles becomes gold. A spoonful of peanut butter becomes friendship. A piece of bread, saved carefully under a mattress, becomes survival. Inside these walls, hunger isn't just physical. It's emotional. It's the need to taste something real, even if it's just a handful of instant coffee or a packet of sugar smuggled from the cafeteria. They say the strongest man isn't the one who can fight. It's the one who can make something edible out of nothing. At night, when the lights dim and the noise fades, the real stories begin. The ones you won't find in reports or documentaries. The whispered ones. Like the tale of the man who refused to eat for 3 days because his soup had something floating in it. Or the one who swore he saw a shadow move inside the pot before the lid came down. Maybe it's exaggeration. Maybe it's fear. Or maybe, as many believe, the truth inside those kitchens is best left untold. Still, every inmate remembers a moment when they stared down at their tray and wondered what it all meant. The taste, the silence, the sameness. Some said it broke them. Others said it made them stronger. But all agreed on one thing. In prison, food isn't just food. It's a message. And so, day after day, the same routine continues. The same clang of trays, the same smell of boiled rice, the same unspoken rule. Don't complain, don't waste, don't ask. Because in here, the less you taste, the easier it is to forget. And forgetting, for some, is the only way to survive. The guards lock the kitchen, the lights go out, the hum of the night takes over, and somewhere in the darkness, an inmate stares at the ceiling and whispers, "Tomorrow, same thing." But even in that resignation, there's a strange kind of hope. Because as long as the food keeps coming, no matter how bad, it means the day still moves forward. And in a place where time feels frozen, that's enough to hold on to. In the next chapter, we'll go deeper into the walls of the kitchen itself, where the truth behind these horror stories begins. Because sometimes, the scariest part of prison isn't what happens in the cells. It's what's cooking right behind them. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe, because what's coming next might just change the way you look at food forever. It begins with the sound of boiling water. A pot too large for one person to lift, bubbling quietly under flickering lights. Steam fills the air, fogging up the narrow windows that separate the prison kitchen from the rest of the world. This is where the stories come from. The heart of it all. The kitchen. Inside, men in aprons move like ghosts through the haze. Their faces shine with sweat, their hands stained from years of stirring, chopping, scraping, repeating. For most, this isn't a job. It's survival dressed as duty. Because working in the kitchen means two things. You're trusted just enough to be useful, but not enough to be free. The cook's voice cuts through the noise. "Keep it moving. Lunch in 10. The sound of ladles clanging against metal echoes like a drumbeat. It's chaotic, but it's controlled. A delicate rhythm that's been perfected over years. Each meal is a test of patience, resourcefulness, and silence. If you've never seen a prison kitchen, imagine a world without color. Everything is steel, concrete, or grey. Even the air feels grey, heavy with the scent of grease and bleach. The food comes in bulk. Unlabeled cans, sacks of powder, industrial containers of oil that look older than the walls. Sometimes even the cooks don't know what they're opening. But the rules are simple. Heat it, stir it, serve it. Don't ask. Don't look too long. But here's the truth most people never hear. The kitchen is where power lives. Not in the offices, not in the cells, right here in the heat and noise and smell. Because in a place where everyone's hungry, the one who controls the food controls everything. There's always that one inmate who knows the kitchen better than anyone else, the food boss. He's not the biggest, not the loudest, but everyone listens when he speaks. He decides who gets an extra portion, who gets the leftovers, and who walks away, with nothing but a spoonful. Sometimes guards look the other way. Sometimes they don't. But inside these walls, respect isn't earned with fists. It's earned with favors. A hidden piece of bread, a scoop of beans after hours, a cup of coffee smuggled back to the block. That's how alliances are made. That's how debts begin. And that's how stories are born. One night, an old cook named Reggie, 20 years inside, leaned against the counter and said something nobody forgot. "The food'll tell you who's running this place." He wasn't wrong. The rumors that started in the chow hall usually ended here, between the pots and the ovens. Inmates spoke of ingredients switched, leftovers repurposed, supplies vanishing before they ever reached the line. But nothing ever got written down, because in here, paper trails lead to punishment. Some say the kitchen has its secrets, unspoken things that only the workers know, like the day the power went out and they served sandwiches by flashlight, or the time an inspector came unannounced and half the staff disappeared until he left. The kind of stories that sound like fiction, until you hear them repeated in 3 different voices from 3 different blocks. There's one story that comes up often: the Wednesday stew. Every week without fail it tastes a little different. Some say it's the same base, cooked again and again, stretched until it becomes something else entirely. Nobody knows what's really in it and nobody asks. The newer inmates stare into their bowls, suspicious. The older ones just eat quietly. In prison, trust is a luxury. even when it comes to lunch. But the strange thing, no matter how bad it gets, no one wants the kitchen shut down. Because the kitchen means warmth. It means noise. It means life. And in a place where silence can drive a man mad, even the hum of a broken refrigerator becomes a kind of comfort. Still, the kitchen hears everything. Conversations float between the chopping blocks and steam pipes. Confessions, jokes, regrets. A man might whisper about his case while peeling potatoes. Another might sing softly while stirring a pot too big for one person to lift. In that noise, you can hear humanity trying to breathe. It's strange, isn't it? How something as simple as food, something taken for granted out there, becomes sacred in here. For some, a good meal can make the day bearable. For others, it's the only reminder of life before the walls. And for a few, it's the only thing left that tastes like hope. When dinner's over, the kitchen falls quiet again. The pots are empty, the floors are slick, and the air smells faintly of onion and oil. The workers wipe their hands on their aprons, look around one last time, and lock the doors behind them. The lights flicker out, one by one, leaving behind the faint hum of the refrigerators. And somewhere deep inside that silence, the same thought echoes through the block. Tomorrow it all starts again. The same line, the same food, the same stories whispered between bites. The world may never know the full truth about what happens in these kitchens. But for those who've lived it, who've tasted it, the memory never fades, because food in prison is never just food. It's survival, it's power, it's a story. And sometimes it's a horror you can still taste years later. Before you leave, make sure to subscribe, because the next story might just be the one they never wanted told.